This is where it all began. 65 years ago, on July 11th, 1955, 306 basic cadets arrived at Lowry Air Force Base in Denver, Colorado, to begin their journey at the United States Air Force Academy. Not much remains of the former base, but if you listen intently enough, you can still hear the faint echoes of the first members of the Long Blue Line. President Dwight Eisenhower signed legislation that established the Air Force Academy on April 1st, 1954, Founders Day. Less than 3 months later, on June 24th, Secretary of the Air Force Harold Talbot announced that Colorado Springs would be the Academy's permanent home. He also tasked Lieutenant General Hubert Harmon with finding a temporary location in Denver while the Academy's permanent campus was being built. He chose Lowry Air Force Base. Lowry has a rich history. The Denver branch of the Army Air Corps Training School opened for business in the old Agnes Phipps Tuberculosis Sanitarium on October 1st, 1937. The base originally housed the Army's photography and armament schools. A few months after opening, it gained the name Lowry in honor of Second Lieutenant Francis Lowry. A Denver native, he was killed in France during World War I aerial combat while serving as an artillery observer and aerial photographer for the Army Air Service. In the early 1950s, Lowry Air Force Base served as the summer White House for President and Mrs. Eisenhower. Lowry hosted cadets for a little more than 3 years from the Academy's opening in 1955 until the whole operation moved to its permanent site in late August 1958. While at Lowry, the Academy established its academic, military, and athletic identities, formalized its honor code, chose the falcon as its mascot, and started many traditions that continue to this day. After the Academy moved south, Lowry continued on as a training installation. By 1966, however, commercial air traffic from nearby airports had increased and the city grew up around the base. Flying operations were ended due to concerns about crashes into surrounding residential areas. In 1991, the Commission on Base Realignment and Closure recommended the base's closure, citing savings by consolidating training at other locations, the lack of active runways, and the base's high resale potential. Lowry Air Force Base ceased to exist on 30 September 1994. More than a quarter century later, many remnants of the base remain, and the Academy's former presence is still felt. One important structure, Building 880, which served as the Commandant of Cadets' office, was added to the National Register of Historic Places during a dedication ceremony on September 4th, 2007. Here in Lowry's Hangar 1, now home of the Wings Over the Rockies Museum, is a display highlighting the early years of the Academy. Other Lowry buildings that remain from the Academy years include the U academic buildings, Eisenhower Chapel, and Hangars 1 and 2.